wanted to give a quick update on the greenhouse. So I'm going to pause on all of the adjustments and changes that I'm making and just give you an update where we are right now. I've put pots in between all of the plants, and I think that they off-put heat during the night, which has helped substantially. I was able to get this bigger container in here that had some pretty used up peas in it, so I think I'm going to cut these off and go give them to the cows. Okay, so I'm going to take all of these little seed heads and just kind of pluck out the seeds and distribute them, kind of broadcast them on top of the soil here, and then I'll just do a quick sweep over the soil so they all get in contact. Spread them all over myself, whatever works better. I've left several varieties that have bolted, so we'll get a couple more, and then this will be like a little lettuce mix. Outside, the temperatures have reached down to the low 20s a few times. The temperature recorded in here was 32 degrees. I have the thermometer up high, and none of the plants seem to be affected by that temperature. We've been getting a fair amount of precipitation. We've got snow a few times. We've had like a week straight of rain. The big storm on the west coast is pushing in a lot of precipitation to us, so we haven't been having very many sunny days. I put some black weed mat up on this north side wall. I think this will provide insulation between itself and the panel and be able to keep some of this warm air in, while also blocking some of the cold air from the outside. I think on sunny days it will also absorb a fair amount of heat from the sun. This one's not a huge adjustment. It's kind of a work in progress. I took everything out of my spinning compost and I dumped it into my garden. Currently this has some weed mat in it, just on extra cold nights that I can throw over some of my plants if I feel like it's necessary. But my long-term goal with it is to be able to mix up some of our aged cow manure with some peat moss and maybe a small amount of some sifted wood chip mulch and kind of make like a potting mix out of it. Any compost in the greenhouse because of all the gas that it emits. So I thought it would work really well as like a tumbler to make some homemade potting soil. Not only do I think it would work really well to tumble the potting mix, but I also think that the potting mix inside would work as a really good heat sink. I've been working on making some of the improvements suggested by you guys in the comments, and I thought I'd show you my messy middle. The tomato plants just aren't working in here. Over the cold months, the tomatoes are rotting on the plants as soon as they start to blush. So, and the plants themselves are full of mold and rot, so I am just making the decision to cut all of the tomato plants out. They're not thriving. The moment they start to blush, they rot. The tomatoes have gone. They were, not only was the fruit rotting because of the moisture that was going on in here, but the plants themselves were getting really sick and even getting mold on them, so they just had to go. My greenhouse is a place that I come for peace, and coming out to moldy tomato plants just wasn't doing it for me. So I tore out all of the other tomatoes. I left one because I wanted to be able to see how it withstood. It's already showing just decomposition and it's not happy. So I don't think it's gonna make it, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of absolutely every single one of them. The pepper plants are another story, however. They seem to be doing really well. in the greenhouse even with these colder temperatures, which I'm surprised. I'm gonna take what I can get out of it, but if we could overwinter them, that would be amazing. These pepper plants on this side look a little sad. I'm not really quite sure. I've tied a few of them up, which doesn't look the greatest, I am aware, but I wanted to get them up off the ground. One of the adjustments that I plan to do over the next handful of days is get a tarp over my compost pile. I almost did it today, but we're planning on cleaning out around the cow feeder this weekend, so there's no point in putting in that effort just to undo it tomorrow. I found that keeping the lid over the sensor on the photocell really lessens the sensitivity of it, which gives it a lot more active time during the day. So it turns on right around 4 o'clock in the evening, and then it stays on until about 7:30, depending on how sunny it is. If we're having really overcast, rainy, snowy days, it's been staying on a bit longer. Testing the air coming out of the system earlier today, I found that it was maxing out at around 85 degrees. All the more reason to try and get that compost pile stirred up a little bit this weekend, which it'll need a couple of days to recover from that, but I feel like that'll be almost perfect timing because we're going to be getting some lower temperatures, so that'll be perfect. We've gotten some fresh wood chips down in the walkways, and the next step is to be bringing in some sifted mulch for the planting areas. I saw something really exciting when I came into the greenhouse, and I wanted to show you. We have some little lettuce starts. When I first moved this pot into the greenhouse, I took some lettuce that had gone to seed from the green stalk, and I just threw a bunch of seeds in, and they have officially sprouted, so looks like we're going to be able to grow some lettuce. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all of the advice and the suggestions that everybody has been leaving in the comments. It's been really neat to be able to add things and change things and make improvements and be able to use so much knowledge from so many different people.